Hi, everybody. For a few more minutes, anyway, on the East Coast, it's still Monday. I lose track of time. It's so easy to lose track of time. And then also to know what's going on in the world, what is really true, what's going on out there. Scary times, people. Actually, I didn't get on here to talk about that. But I never know what avenue am I gonna take? But war, oh my Lord. And then we've got war right here in our streets. And unfair laws. Unjust things are going on everywhere. But we do need a strong president. Yeah, my hair's all not cool. It's just about midnight, and I'm just about to put myself to bed. But I have the hardest time going to bed. But I need to, because if we have that clock that's waking us up in the morning, then, you have to give yourself a better chance. My naturopath, when I only visited with her the one time, actually a couple times, but one long time. She wanted me to go to bed by 10. I'm going, well, good luck with that. But it would be for my best interest. It wasn't like she was trying to punish me or anything. It's just that if you've got a clock that's going to wake you up, then you need to go to bed earlier to try to get some of that sleep. And I've just never really done very good in that sleeping department. And I'm taking melatonin. I guess first I should say, it's January 5th, 2026. This is Lou. And I thought about going live, but that's probably not a good thing for me to do. It's hard to control oneself, and if you're being because of the fact that I definitely have opinions, and I know that we all have opinions, right? And some of us do not agree, and some of us cannot calm down long enough to listen to the other person. I mean, so much misunderstanding in the world, even in just your little family, if you just pay attention. It's so hard. People always assume they know what you're saying before you say it, and then they have a judgment already made up from what came out of their head, not anything to do with what you're saying. I mean, that happens a lot. We need to settle down, calm down. So many scammers out there too. You just don't know what you can believe. And I keep getting caught up in things that just sound so good, but then they're not. Anyway. I've got a light on in here. I mean, Nancy gave me this thing called a ring last year before I came. That was my Christmas present, one of them. And it's for holding my phone up in the air a little bit more. But then that light behind me is in the way. See, my head right now is covering up that light. But I couldn't get rid of it over there. nevertheless, the other day, this thing got really hot. So I don't know. But I'm going to use it for a little bit and then unplug it. Because this room is quite dark. And now it's probably a little too light. Maybe I should pull that up and turn it down a little bit if I can. So yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. That's probably pretty evident. Especially with no eyeballs. Meaning my glasses. Sorry. Didn't sound so good. Okay, let's see if I can turn that down some more. I'm seeing this glow come out of my face, and I've seen that before. It's been a while. A long, long time ago, I had a picture taken. It was in a photo booth, okay? I was with, he was my ex-husband, and we were in a photo booth, had 4 pictures taken. We both had the same tan. In other words, we had a deep tan going on. And there was this light shining out of my face. He was dark, he was tan, but I had a glow. Serious. And I'm kind of seeing that right now too, even in the dark. I turned that down. Let's see, I should turn it back up a little bit. See, look at that. Way too light. So how do you change that? Ah! It's, okay, now there's this rainbow of colors going around. I'll have to show you guys. I'll turn it around and show you. See, this is where I would have the phone. Okay, so let's turn it. Let's change that. Oh my, it made me dizzy. You make me dizzy, Miss Lizzie. Okay, we'll go back to the white light. It's interesting. If you watched my other videos, okay, then you've seen a couple of quilts that I just was showing. So in Tyler's quilt, it ends up, it looks like a white cross. I mean, I think it's black in the middle. And then, I'm not sure on Tyler's, because he doesn't have black. So he might have brown. Anyway, the point is, it looks like a cross. A white one. So I figure, hey, that's, you know, the light and all this darkness. So I kind of like it. So then I laid out Shay's quilt, okay, on my bed. And took that video earlier. I took several pictures and videos because I want to keep that design and just put different colors in it. So what was the point? Oh, hers has that white cross too. Right smack in the middle of her quilt. It has the dark in the middle, and then it's got the 4 outer things are white. So I thought, how cool is that? So that's 2 quilts that's got it. Anyway, Tyler came over and gave me some feedback. I've got that light in the way back there. So, where I have those 2 random red squares, I'm going to put 2 white. I mean, if you saw it earlier and heard me talking about it, the design, I've got these 2 random red squares where they should be white. They should be white because if I did the blue, it would mess up the other thing that I have going on. So anyway, he agreed. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take 2 of those pieces of white material. They're already cut into a square. And just take the iron. That's what I'll have to do. Take the iron and iron like a 1/4 inch seam all the way around. You know, fold it in and iron it, and then I can top stitch it into place. And it'll be like it was white. You won't really see the red. You'd almost think you'd see the red coming through, but I think even if you do, it's not going to be that obvious. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. I'm all right. Nobody worry about me. Caddyshack. Yes, age is coming. That is if we live long enough, right? I've seen where they said that, you know, sad to be old, but at least you lived there. I mean, you lived long enough to be old. I don't want to be old. I don't want to think about that. We need to enjoy what we got. We need to appreciate what we got, because so many times we don't. You really don't know how bad you got it until you got it bad. I'm not looking forward to getting older, and I need to be getting out and doing my exercising. I have been doing a little exercising, and going up and down these stairs gives me steps, but I need more. I need more exercise, and I need more. I don't want to say it. I know I need to go to church, because then you become involved. You become involved with people. And you're talking about the scriptures, and you're learning, and you're feeling the Spirit, and you also get excited, and there's all kinds of things going on. And we're entering a day and time. I found it interesting. I heard something earlier. I saw it. And I did click on it, so I heard it too. If you go back in my videos, which there's too many, I've got over 1,200. But anyway, what was I telling you to go back and look at? Oh. What I heard today. It says something about the church might be changing its name. Now see, what I was saying is, if you go back in my videos, I've been telling you guys about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Okay? Latter-day Saints is a time frame. And I said, it is the Church of Jesus Christ. Period. It's just that we are in the last days, and that has been attached. But I think they're going to drop that, and I think that's perfect, because it is the Church of Jesus Christ. And I think sometimes we have a long name that you got all this crap you got to get out of your mouth, you know, and it's just the Church of Jesus Christ, really. It's wonderful. So I saw that today. So I've been going to stop and listen to these videos, and I haven't done it. There's so much out there, really, I need to listen to, because there's big changes happening. So I guess the way to find out about it is go to church. They are gearing up. The church is gearing up for the second coming. For reals, people. Not just, oh, it's going to come, it's going to come, it's going to come. Nuh-uh. Things are changing. Not just the name, but all kinds of things. Because, to be able to accommodate the people, mass people. So you don't know what I'm talking about, but some people say I'm against organized religion. Well, they're crazy because they don't know what they're talking about. It's a wonderful, wonderful organization. Just remember that every organization is made up of people. Not all people are good. They be trying, maybe. Maybe they be trying. The odds are a lot better that those people that are there are actually trying to do good. And they devote their time and their energy, which is the same thing that would happen if you get involved, then you have a job to do. There's always all these different jobs in the church. Nobody gets paid. And it's an experience thing, a growing thing. Because the classes have to have teachers. You've got Sunday school, but I don't know if they still have Sunday school, because it's sacrament. We have sacrament meeting. Before they were doing 3 hours, okay, so they would do a class that was the women's, and the class that's the men's at the same time, priesthood and then the women's organization, and then a Sunday school class. Okay, so now what they've got is they condensed the 3 hours down to 2, so that, okay, the first hour is sacrament meeting, and that's a meeting where we get together and there's singing and prayer and some talks and passing of the sacrament. Passing of the sacrament's done pretty much in the beginning. They open with a prayer, have an opening song, and then there's a sacrament song. Sacrament song while they prepare the sacrament to be passed around, and then there is a prayer said over the water, and then there's a prayer said over the water, and the water's passed around. It's in little cups, and they have it. So they pass it around. Everybody has a chance to take it. And then they go back up to the same table where the bread is now, and they say a prayer over the bread. A certain prayer, word for word, cannot be wrong. If they stutter over it or do something wrong when they're saying the prayer, they have to say it again. It's kind of like when you're being baptized. If a hair of your head's out of the water, then you got to go down again, because everything has to go down. And the sacrament is the same thing. You're taking on the vow again. You're renewing this oath that you've made by being baptized. Hopefully I'm making sense. Here's something else, people. Not that you'd ever thought about it. Baptism is by immersion for the remission of sins by those in authority. Okay. But what happens here is if you decide to be baptized, then you're going to go down into the waters of baptism, and all of your sins will be washed away. You start anew. So when you go down into the water, it's a symbolism thing. You are going down in the water, the old creature, and you come up. It's like a rebirth. You come up out of the water and you become a new creature. What a wonderful thing. You know, some people don't believe in all that stuff, but I don't care. It's a trip. It's a deal. By those in authority, the priesthood authority has been restored to the earth. And every man, every boy from the age of 12 up can hold the priesthood. And then you learn about things, and you do service projects. It's really a great thing. You grow up little by little. What is it they say? Line upon line, precept upon precept. In other words, you can't understand the whole ball of wax. You have to start little by little. Same thing with reading those scriptures. You're not going to understand. You're not going to see the full everything just by reading a few scriptures. It's intense. It's pretty big time. And there's a lot to study. So, things spur my little thoughts, and there away I go. I just heard a woman on Facebook talking about our wonderful president. And she was talking in English and then in Spanish, and then she was talking to both and really praising him and standing up and doing what's right and for the Venezuelan people. Anyway, she stirred me on because I do believe we need a strong man, and we need someone who knows what he's doing. You can't pussyfoot around with some certain things. I wish we could all get along. So anyway, that's what stirred me on. Now what? Yeah. The church is changing. That's what I was talking about. It's not just the fact that, I saw that today about the name. That makes perfect sense to me, because it's a big old mouthful to have to say, I belong to this, to this, to this, to this, when it's just the Church of Jesus Christ. Truly, it is his church. And there are wonderful things afoot. But with also the fact I started to say with how many people there are and how fast the church will grow, is growing. It's like that, and it's part of the scriptures, it's like the stone that was cut out of the mountain without, anyway, it's rolling down the mountain, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, that's the church. Nothing can stop it. And in the end, it will be, people will search for sanctuary there. It's a scary thought. But you think about it, the second coming of Christ is going to be good and it's going to be bad. The great and dreadful day of the Lord. So those who are worthy enough will be lifted up. Meaning, here, Jesus is coming in the sky. Way up there with his concourses of angels. And those who are worthy will be lifted up to meet him. That's what I was taught. And I've been promised to be lifted up in that day. But you have to live up to things. You have to be worthy. But you have to be pretty bad not to be able to be lifted up. Meaning, what I was taught, and it probably was in seminary, that, and maybe it was also from reading the scriptures, because the scriptures teach you. But anyway, the righteous will be lifted up, and we will watch the destruction below. And not just that, everybody in the whole world will see at the same time. We won't have to go all the way around the world, because I think it is probably gonna, my hands are doing trips over here. Okay, you've got your circle. Some people think we're a flat earth, whatever. Something about the 4 quarters. Well, people, I think he said corners, but it's quarters, like the world has been divided up. So anyway, the 4 quarters or the 4 corners of the earth it probably will become flat, because it says it'll roll up like a scroll. But they're talking about the history of this earth, the history of everything that's happened here will be like in a scroll. So I just tripped just then. Anyway, I know that from my studies that the earth is going to go through a change, just like we are. Those of us who are alive at the time when Jesus comes again won't die, but we'll be changed. I want to say we'll be changed in the twinkling of an eye. You're going to go from this mortal state to a semi-immortal state. Not going to be totally immortal yet. That comes later on down the road. But I had other thoughts enter my mind, so I got a little distracted there. Okay, so the millennium. He's ushering in the millennium. The millennium is 1,000 years where Jesus will reign on the earth, where the lion and the lamb will lay down together. There won't be the food chain anymore. I don't know about what people will eat. Interesting thought. But the point is, okay, there'll be no sickness, there'll be no pain, there'll be no temptation. We'll all get to live again. And those of us, like I said, those of us who are alive at the time he comes, we won't die. But, you know, there's going to be a resurrection. When Jesus was resurrected, there was a great resurrection at that time when he was resurrected. So that's 4,000 years worth of people that already got their trip going on. And now when he comes again, so I was thinking about the people in the grave. The people in the graves will give up their dead because they're going to be resurrected. So, I mean, there's things I just need to go back and learn again, because that was a long time ago. I don't sit around and read my scriptures all the time. I should. So, things are happening, people. There's all these things in the Bible about the end of days. Or, I mean, you know, I guess that would be right. The way to say it, the end of days. Maybe we'll still have days. Because time only exists here on Earth. But see, the millennium is going to be here on Earth. So, we'll still have time, I bet. And it says 1,000 years, but what kind of, whose time? I guess it's Earth's time. Okay, that would make sense. I used to always wonder, 1,000 years, that's not very long for everybody to be able to go through a life And it sounds like we're going to all live 100 years. So we'll live to be 100 years, and then we'll be changed. And I'm not sure if we'll just go directly to our worlds, because there's still going to be a big old battle. So that, I don't understand all these battles. And I've told you before, there's more than one kind of battle. Because we are in a battle for our very soul. Isn't that what they say? Some words they might use. Because it's true. The decisions you make, the things you do with your life are going to have to do with where you go. However, right now we have Satan to deal with. Right now we have all this horrible stuff, temptation, lust, all kinds of things, greed, things to get you off the path, to get you in a bad place. You've heard the expression, you're only human, right? Yeah. So that's what I was kind of trying to say earlier when I was talking about the fact that the church is made up of people, and people are only human, and people, we're all here to be tested. What's going on? Anyway, I went and got my iPad. I have not read to you guys in forever. And I didn't know that I really want to read. I don't necessarily want to read. However, I didn't really know I was going to talk about all that stuff. So here we have, that's what I never finish what I'm saying. But like the fact that there's going to be too many people. There'll be too many people to be housed in this organization that we're doing right now. Because there is highly organized. I know, my hair's all dirty. All over the world, every Sunday. And there's lots of wards meeting. I mean, there's up to 4 wards meeting in one building. But the point is, every single ward all over the world has the same manuals. The classes that are going on have the same instructional manuals. It's so organized. And it's in every place where we can be, we are. Meaning there are other countries that have kept us out. But I think they've opened up. And the church, here's another thing they're doing. I'm just very, very, very impressed. There's too many things for me to put it all out there correctly. But like building temples. Building temples is very expensive. And they're made beautiful and wonderful, and they're houses of God. But they're also, I mean, it's where he can be. He can be where he wants to be anyway, but it's, I don't know how they had put it before, like sacred enough for him to touch his feet on. But that don't make sense, because God can do whatever he wants. So, what is my point about all that? Oh, okay. So, we have steakhouses. Not a place to go eat steak. It's a steak center. It's a larger church that is, it's like it's like having that mother spider and all the little things go out, you know. So in a steak, there's a steak center, and then there's several different other buildings that are not as big. They all belong to the same group. There's meetings going on all over in these buildings. But then there'll be a time when they have a steak conference, a steak, S-T-E-A-K, conference, where all the different wards that are inside that steak will all come together and meet. And then there's general conference, which is twice a year. And that's broadcast all over the world from Salt Lake City. And they built the most wonderful building, conference center. Huge, huge. I have been in it, and I have been on top of it too. On top of it, it's got a park. I mean, flying by, you don't know that's a building there. It just looks like part of the landscape. However, it's downtown Salt Lake, so it's not really part of the landscape. Because, you know, and there are houses there too, though. I was going to say a lot of the city is city is city. Drive down State Street. Like when I was in high school, there was a road that went from Sandy, Utah, all the way to downtown Salt Lake City. And they called it State Street. And that's what the kids would, on the weekends and stuff, the kids would, when I say kids, I'm talking about the teenagers, okay, the ones who were driving. They'd be driving their cars up and down State Street. And I think it was 2 lanes on each side of the road. And then you've got, I'm not sure my right words, but you know, in a town you've got a lot of shops, right? So it's mostly shopping things that's going on, not houses. Until you get out into a suburban type area, which is Sandy. Or it was. I don't know what it is now. Kind of gotten big. Kind of gotten crazy. Last time I was there, I didn't recognize anything. It was humongous. And then my brother was there, and he found them. He found the house that we were in Sandy, when my mom and dad moved there. And we were in high school there. It's just massive growth, and then things have changed. You know, they tear things down and build new things up. Big old places that had theaters, restaurants and theaters, and you could just go into one building and not have to leave. I haven't been there. I just was told. So I'm not really probably telling about it very good. I think they tore down our high school and built a new one, you know, because it was a little high school, right? I graduated in 1972. Long time ago. So I just wanted to get on here and chat. And I thought maybe I might find something to read, but I actually did give you guys a good little talk. Instruction. Things are going on, people. And the church is very important. And in your, it's just really a great vehicle to grow in. And to raise your family in. I played ball. I know I played, I'm not sure, baseball, softball, volleyball, basketball. There were always something going on, and they do tournaments, and the church is pretty, like I said, organized. Wards. Okay, how does it go? The smallest group of people is a branch. My dad was a branch president, but we didn't have very many people. And we drove 30 miles to get to that little building. It wasn't a full big building, but it was a building. It had the junior Sunday school, which we used for regular Sunday school and all that, and then just one hallway with classes. That's all that building had. But it was a building. Because I also remember meeting in banks. You know, on the weekend they're not being used for the banking thing. We had a meeting in a bank. We had church in a house. before too. I mean, you got to go way back then. I was way young. So, and depending on where you're located at, okay, the church is big in Salt Lake. And the church is big actually in a lot of places. Idaho and southern Utah and in Arizona. My brother lives in a stake, let's see, Lehigh Stake, I think. And I don't, anyway, the roads are named after prophets in the Book of Mormon. So, I mean, there's Alma. Alma was a great prophet in the Book of Mormon. Alma the Younger was a hellion turned to a great. In other words, Alma was righteous. I think he was one of the judges. And then he went out and did other things, teaching. And I get it confused. I need to go back and just start reading Alma. Maybe that's what I should do. I know I quit reading what I was reading, and I don't even remember what that was. And guess what? This thing is dead. I haven't been using my iPad, so it has calmed out on me. And the light is plugged into my thing. You're probably not going to see me very good if I take that off. Ah! See? It's all dark. Why can't I get it to be light? Well, I need the light, so maybe I don't need to read. Okay. I need the light. Okay, and that's way light. So I need to take that down a notch or two or three. Yeah, it's not in the cards for me to read. So I will just talk. Because in order to read, I have to have my iPad going on and I have to be plugged in. And this room is quite dark without this light on, so. Yeah, I got songs playing in my head and weird things going on out there in the world. They do say that the most valiant spirits were saved for this time frame, people. I know I said it the other day in one of my videos, but it's true. We were saved for the end because of some big old battle, I guess. The opposition in all things. Well, I don't have my, I don't have any scriptures I can read from. So for on my iPad, because I eliminated stuff because it took too much room. I've got Shay's quilt. Okay, that's me talking. Let's shut up. Anyway, I got Shay's, the sashing done on her quilt. So all I've got to do now is the binding. And so earlier I did, I'm pretty sure I have enough strips that I already cut that were 2.5 inches. I went ahead and put them all together, sewed them on an angle. I've shown that before too. I don't have it in here to show you, but I did what I had to do to join those strips so that I can use them as the binding on this quilt. And when I get that binding done, I will be done. So I think I'll put it in the wash and the dryer. There's just a lot of fibers and different things, and strings from the floor, you know, and then my hair and then the dog hair. So I figure I'll try to get some of that out, try to remove it and make it smell pretty. But it's going to look really good with that binding. It'll have a little black edge all the way around. And I think that quilt turned out just really great. So I'm going to take that same design. I did take some pictures of it, so I need to post those. And then I'm going to use those for, I need to find out. I know there's an app that would help me to be able to put my stuff together. You know what I mean? To be able to say, okay, I want this color here and this color there. But I do like the fact that I'm going to be able to do that. Have a wall. I'm going to use a tablecloth where I'll be able to just use double-sided tape or whatever, stick it to the wall, and then I can... The tablecloth is a seasonal tablecloth, and you can get them at the Dollar Tree, evidently. I have to go look. But the bottom of the tablecloth is a felt, so it grabs onto the material. So I could put my squares all over and they just stay there until I peeled them off. So that's pretty neat. It'd be kind of like having a felt board. That probably is exactly like having a felt board. Something that grabs the material. And I have found that the cotton material grabs. I mean, I adjust it, I put it where it's at, and it's not moving. It could move, but it stays put pretty good. So I might have to go ahead and make some coasters, because I never figured out exactly how many squares I needed in the beginning, right? I just made squares. I got a bunch and a bunch and a bunch. I figured I would use them because I was thinking about making pillow covers. Put a zipper in one end or a zipper in the back or something. You really want to have it on the end. So I haven't opened the box, but I did. There was, on Black Friday, there were these pillows. Bed pillows. They were, I think they were like $150. I don't know. I might be thinking about my watch, okay, because the watch was $129 off. It was I got it for like $21 plus tax, and it's not a smartwatch, but it does do things. But now it's set 10 minutes fast. How does that happen when it's supposed to be set? I mean, I don't know how to adjust that time, because it seems to me it should be automatic, but maybe it's not automatic. Maybe I had to set it in the first place. But anyway, so you see how I get distracted up in another land. Trying not to sing too much. I haven't sang yet, right? I got a song playing in my head. But I'll hold on to it. The point about the church is that, I mean, I might be speaking out of turn, but I'm just thinking there's just not going to be a way to have everybody there. See, right now, we are having 2-hour meetings, but they might even take it down to where there was just 1 hour. And the reason being, that many more wards can meet in the same building. And then the other thing I started to say, the stake centers, okay? The stake center, these people have planned ahead, okay? They got property all over the place. They have temples where they have been not dedicated, but groundbreaking, or a cornerstone has been set, or the property's just been bought for a future building. Temples, stake centers. So anyway, That's what I was talking about, was the fact that there's too many things. Okay, I heard that President Nelson, who is now dead, but President Nelson wanted 600 temples built before, I imagine, before Jesus comes again. And they're very expensive. And it's not just that. They run into problems with permits, laws. Can you do this? Or, can you build a building here or whatever? So what I saw that they have done is they're starting to, they have buildings that are a part of a building. The building is already there, but then they are using a certain part of that building as a temple. So the building's already there. They don't have to get permits and all that stuff. And it makes it more accessible for the people all over to be able to get to it. It's just wonderful, really. So, not everybody's going to understand that, but I do. I can remember, Mom and Dad did the driving. I was 14, but we had to go 30 miles just to get to church. And then that was that little building I was telling you about, a junior Sunday school and one hallway of classes. Then it had a little parking lot outside, and it was out. It was not in the city. It was out a little bit. Right off the freeway, though. It was pretty cool. But even at that time, and that little teeny, you think you're little teeny, but see, then you go and you meet with the stake. There are meetings that draws everybody together, and then there are dances all over the place, and there's all kinds of things going on. So I was 14, and I went to a formal dance, and it was on an army base, or whatever it was. It was one of the armed forces. This is in North Carolina, okay? I'm not sure exactly where we went to that dance, but we had to travel a ways. We got all dressed up, all purdied up, and went to a formal dance. I was in a road show, which really what that meant was you were doing a play. I did a play. Can't remember exactly what I was. I remember running around the stage, and there was a tree involved. So maybe I was a little fairy. A wood gnome or some weird thing. I don't know. All I know is I would like to remember that a little better. Nevertheless, the point was we were involved in things like the ball tournaments and the this and the that and the other thing, and the road show. And I was in a dance festival where you have to learn and then you perform. And that was when I was in Sandy, Utah. But the ball games too, they were tournaments. They was just, and it was within the stake. So all these different wards. What a ward is, in case you don't know, because I did describe it before, but not now. A ward is a geographical area that has up to 1,000 members of the church in it. When that ward gets to 1,000 members, then it splits. They split the ward in half, back down to 500 people, and give it a new name. Number 1, number 2, number 3, First ward, second ward, 5th ward, 10th ward, 12th ward. And that those wards are a group of people in a geographical area that's going to use part of this building over here. So they have a time slot that they get to use that building. It's really fluid because, I mean, I've seen it where they've got church at 9 o'clock in the morning and all day long there's people coming and going, and they belong to their own ward in their own geographical area. But we all come together. So you're not, if you're this little teeny measly little branch, you still belong to the big group. But it's a lot better to be in a big group because in a branch you're doing everything. You don't have enough people to do the things that need to be done. Anyway, I've talked too much and I need to go to bed. Not that I will, but I think I will. I'm ready to go to bed. Try to change some habits. It's not easy. So, like, anymore, though, I get tired and I do want to go to bed. But then I'll get a second wind or I'll get involved in a project and I don't want to go to bed. But I read something once. I wish I could pull it together because it was I was with Mom and Dad down in, we were in Salt Lake City, and see, Mom and Dad were on a mission there. And I'm having a feeling that was when it was. But down in this room, it was the, like a distribution center that was a part of the temple, or the temple grounds. All I know is I went down in there, and there was a sign that said something about, I'll try to give you the gist of it, but it's not going to be right. The point is, don't waste your tomorrow. You know, but like staying up all night or staying up half the night and then you go to bed so tired. You thought you were doing really great, because I have this happen to me a lot, you know. I'd be doing just great, and then morning comes and oh my God, I hadn't had any sleep, and then I'm down for the count. And so you have wasted half of your next day by nonsensical stuff that you did the night before. You know what I'm saying? Early bird catches the worm. But I'm not out trying to catch any worms. However, early morning devotional is probably a good thing. That's what the missionaries do. They get up, I don't even know how early they get up, but they get up early and they have, and I'm not sure how long they have. It might be a half hour, it might be an hour of scripture study, devotional type things going on in the morning. Maybe it's because they're fresh and they're getting prepared to go out into the world too. And I need to do that. So people, I've talked way too long, almost an hour, tripping. There's my bracelet. I love my bracelet, Nay. Thank you. I do, I really like that. I'm trying not to say what's in my head because it's singing. I lay my love on you. It's all I want to do. Every time I breathe, I feel brand new. You opened up my heart and gave me all your love and walked right through as I lay my love on you. So that's a song from way back when, but it's being played on these reels that I see. And so there we are. I like the words. I lay my love on you. So anyway, We do want to spread some love, but not that way. And the church is a wonderful thing. I said I was an advocate, and someone said, what's an advocate? Do you know what an advocate is? Anyway, I believe in it. I endorse it. I believe that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the Church of Jesus Christ. And it's only appropriate that they change the name, because, you know, the times are going to be changing, because they were saying something about maybe it'll be the Church of Jesus Christ of the millennial era. See, there's no sense in putting all that extra stuff there. It's just the Church of Jesus Christ. And I'm well pleased with that. So I do know that it is his true church, and that the authority has been brought back down to the earth, and that every male 12 years and older, if they're a member of the church, can hold the priesthood. There's different levels of this priesthood. The child that's at 12 years old only has a little portion. He grows to the next portion, then he's given more. So it starts out as a deacon, and then a priest, and then an elder, and then a high priest. Elder's about when you're 18. You can. So I don't know the different years, and I don't know if I passed over something. That's all I remember is the deacon and the priest and the elder. That's 3 different ones. And then to hold certain offices in the church, you have to be a high priest. So then that's when you get that power when you need it. Faith is power, people. You women out there that might feel like, only the men get to have the priesthood. Well, there's more to it than that. But faith is power. So you can still have what we would call priesthood power. Or just power because you believe. And I've had that. And I've also had a vision. I've had some dreams that came true, but they were all kind of symbolic, kind of sort of. I wasn't really understanding total what I was seeing, but then I had a dream where I was given answers to questions that I had been praying about. And in such a manner, there is no way I could have conjured that up. No way. Oh my God. It was a trip. I told you guys about it. Probably in a couple different places. But I did. I wanted to know, how could God create a world? And not just the world, which is a massive undertaking, but everything, every single thing that lives and creeps on the earth. And not just, that lives, because plant life lives. Everything. And then the intricacies of the human being, my goodness. So anyway, here I am. I'm just, this was way back when my daughter was either first, second, or third grade. I just know that she was first, second, or third grade in that house. And I know the house where I had the dream. But I shot straight out of bed. There's just so much to it. When you enter the celestial kingdom, you'll be given a little white stone. And if you read that, you won't know what that is. But when you read a lot of different things and you put it together, that little white stone basically is your very own Urim and Thummim. Now, I come to these conclusions myself. I wasn't taught this, but I was, by studying. Urim and Thummim constitutes a seer. I don't know if I can put all this together for you, but also, I'm not quite sure where I read that, but anyway, God lives on a sea of glass. And it says that he gains knowledge for all his creations up through that sea of glass. Okay, and then there's other parts that talk about the fact that, see, this earth is, right now, is in a low form, and it's going to be changed to a terrestrial form for the millennium. And then when the millennium is over, it'll be changed. It'll be celestialized. It will become a celestial kingdom, a celestial world. But anyway, in order to enter, when you enter the celestial kingdom, it says, I read it, you'll be given a little white stone. But it doesn't tell you what that white stone is. But it's a Urim and Thummim. I can tell you that. Because with that stone, I knew everything. Because I was trying to figure out, this was the second part of what I was trying to figure out. Not just, how could God do that? How could he create this world and us and all the intricacies, like I said, of just the human being, much less all these different animals and how everything works together? So what's my point? I lose myself. I'm tired. I did lose myself, so still that song is in there playing. The second part of that is what it was the fact that if we graduate, go into the celestial kingdom, how are we? See, if you're in the top of the top, anyway, I'm not sure about the bottom, but because there's 3 levels. There's 3 levels in each kingdom. So you can be in the bottom of the celestial kingdom and work your way up and make it to the top. And the ones in the top are the ones who have eternal life, which is your seed will never end. You can produce and produce and produce. Like me and my mate, we can create worlds, and we can populate those worlds with our children. And it's a weird thing. When you really stop and think about it, I don't know about that. Populating a world, and look what happened with this one, and having to deal with all that, I don't know. It would be nice to be happy all the time, but I don't think that's part of the picture. I mean, it's part of the picture to be happy, but I'm sure there's going to be some sadness too. But we don't want sadness. I do know that I got to go to bed. And at least I'm tired enough that I could probably sleep. I've given you guys an earful anyway. Take care. And let's all have a great new year if we can. I don't know. If you're looking, grab onto it. If you're out there trying to do good, there are those of you who want, but you just don't know where to find it. The Church of Jesus Christ. That's the way to go. And it'll get you where you want to go. Okay, so I didn't tell you what I learned. And what the big deal was I was trying to figure out, okay, not only how did he do that, but how are we going to be able to do that, okay? If you graduate, I mean, the idea is to become like mom and dad, Heavenly Mother and Heavenly Father. Become a God like them. Create a world like them. Anyway, here's what I found out in my dream. This is my opinion. It's kind of almost like that stone is programmed with what you need. The minute that stone, I got my stone in my dream, and I'll say the second it touched my skin, I knew everything. And I don't know how to describe that, except for that I just had all this knowledge in my head, so much that I shot straight out of bed. And I am not kidding. From a deep sound sleep to standing up. Wow. You know, that's how I come out of it. It's like, wow. But the point was, my dad had this expression, and he might not have been talking about that, but it fits. You do your best, and the Lord will do the rest. I know that sounds awful simple, right? But I mean, literally, I spent a lot of time studying and a lot of time praying because I wanted to know how in the world am I supposed to be able to create a world? And all that in it is. Anyway, no, there's a whole lot to learn. But the point is, with that stone, you'll be able to do everything. And that stone will end up being your world. And it will be that sea of glass like God has. He lives on a sea of glass. Think about it. I didn't tell you that part. This earth will be changed. When she is celestialized, she will be like crystal. The celestial kingdom. Are you getting my drift? I think it's really cool. The celestial kingdom. Those who, I mean, if you want to procreate or you want to be able to create children, you have to be in the top of the top. You have to be in the top part of the celestial kingdom to be able to do that. And seriously, it was my take on everything that stone becomes your world. Like a massive crystal. Crystal ball. Anybody got some thoughts on that? I think about that because God lives on a sea of glass. I don't think the world is flat. I think of everything in circles, spheres. spheres. I can't say it very well. And there's a lot of symbolism in the scriptures, people. You cannot take everything for literal. Like the part about the earth rolling up like a scroll. I don't know what's going to happen when this earth passes away, because it does talk about the earth passing away. But we know that this earth is going to go through a change, and it's going to become the terrestrial world for the millennium. It'll have that type of I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say. She's just going to be a lot better. A lot better than she is. And she's beautiful now, except for that we polluted her and taken over her. Our poor animals are out there going, where's my home? Well, too many people came along and chopped their woods down and built their own home. It's really kind of sad. We all have to share. But anyway, I need to let go. I've been on here way too long. And I hope that everybody's okay. Something had to have happened to Linda. You know, I don't know what her problems were, except for a boyfriend. But she did watch her family die of cancer. Several people. She sent me a gift, and she sent me, I sent them back to her, but I think I might have kept one. She sent me pictures of her family, of her mother when her mother passed, or when her mother was, not when she passed. Her mother was old, and she sent me a picture of her smoking a pipe. And, but she did tell me that she watched a few people, I think they were family members, die of cancer. She was a good woman. She helped people out. She sent me some stuff for my hair. I need to use it. I still have it. Spray on the scalp, and so it just would roll right off my face. And you have to put it back here far enough where you can put it. But I need help. So I'll be getting on my knees and praying for some help. And it's nice to talk to you people. I hope that we can be a peacemaker. That's basically what I'm looking for, a peacemaker. And sometimes that's not easy. I mean, I can get caught up in that. Don't be messing with me, man. Anyway, you guys have a good night. And I will get my iPad charged, and then I'll read to you. Maybe I'll start reading the book of Alma. I learned a lot of good things in Alma, but Alma is quite a big book. It's, I think it's got 63 chapters. See, I read to you guys on here, I read the Book of Mormon. The Book of Mormon is only 10. It's 9 or 10 chapters. I can't remember for sure. And then I read on here the Book of Moroni. That one is 10 chapters, I believe. Moroni was the last one to write in the book. Moroni is Mormon's son. Mormon was a historian. The book is called the Book of Mormon because Mormon took care of all the records and condensed them, abridged, as you would say. pulled out the most important and sacred parts, not just sacred, but also the wars. There are different things in the books, but he put them together. So he has his own little book, but it's only like 9 or 10 chapters. I'm not sure which. And Moroni's is, I'm pretty sure, is 10. And Moroni is the one who hid the records up. And he's the one who showed Joseph Smith where they were. And with the book, in that box, a stone box in the side of a hill, I think that's in Palmyra, there were other things in that box, and one of them was the Urim and Thummim and a breastplate. And the Urim and Thummim was used to translate the book, to translate the records and make it into a book with the use of a Urim and Thummim. Okay, so if you want to find out, I mean, in the Old Testament it talks about Urim and Thummim. You just have to figure out where that is. And I'm sure I've said it on here before, because I've read about the Urim and Thummim on here, too. Anyhow, let's see, I'm not even sure all the things I've read. I read the book of Revelation, because my ex requested it, so I did that. So I forget now, but I've read several different places. I think I read John, but I'm not sure. But I do remember reading the Book of Mormon and the Book of Moroni. The Book of Mormon was just horrid. It was all a lot about war, what was going on, and the annihilation of the Nephites. Moroni was the last living Nephite. And I'm not sure how many years he made it, but the opposition, the enemy, sought out and killed every last one. If they knew you were a Nephite, you were dead. There was no saying, oh, you can come and work for us and everything's cool, we'll let you be our slave. It wasn't that. They just killed them all. They did horrible, horrible things. And Mormon said that he did not write down all the horrible things that they did because he did not want to harrow us up. And I looked up the meaning to that once, harrow. He didn't want to cause us misery for knowing how horrible it was. Now, let me see. I wanted to look up the word harrow. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. What does harrow mean? A harrow is a farming tool that is used to break up and smooth out the surface of the soil. It consists of heavy frame and sharp teeth and upright disc. Definitions, net. What does harrow mean? What does harrow mean in the Bible? In the Bible, a harrow refers to an agricultural tool for breaking up the soil, but it also symbolizes spiritual refinement, intense suffering, or judgment, used metaphorically for breaking down the heart to prepare it for God, and literally as a brutal instrument of torture. As in 2 Samuel 12:31, the Hebrew words for harrowing relate to tearing, leveling, or breaking clods, applicable both to fields and souls. Spiritual and figurative meaning. Like fields, the heart needs to be harrowed, broken down, humbled, refined by trials, discipline, or the spirit to become receptive to God's word and bear fruit. Uprooting sin. The process of harrowing signifies uprooting sin and spiritual obstacles, preparing for spiritual growth, similar to preaching that exposes and breaks down sin, literal torture and punishment, brutal instrument. King David uses iron, harrows, saws, and axes to torture the people of Ammon, showing a severe, destructive use of the tool. Examples in scriptures. Job 39 describes a wild ox harrowing the valleys after plowing. Isaiah mentions the farmer plowing. Well, I know that I read a different meaning, but basically the same thing is he did not want to break our souls, break our hearts, to cause us any more misery than what he was already telling us. Because I'm telling you, I didn't make it through the Book of Mormon, that little 9 chapters. I didn't make it to the end without crying. I cried right here on this screen because it was that bad. And he said he did not tell us all because he did not want to harrow us up. Intense suffering or judgment, used metaphorically for breaking down the heart to prepare it for God, and literally as a brutal instrument of torture. Okay. I don't have the scriptures on here because it tells me I have no room, even though I know I do. So I have to wait until I charge up my iPad. Okay, so what time is it? 1:23. So I must go, people. I need to say my prayers and go to bed. So you guys take care, and I'll go ahead and post this, and maybe you'll see it tomorrow. Take care.